I beat Minecraft without taking any damage, without using a shield, without using potions, and without using any glitches. For months, I've been putting myself in constant pain. Try after try, fail after fail. Minecraft challenges are a common practice these days, but I believe I may have taken on one of the hardest ones possible. This is the Minecraft no-hit run. I'm done with these. And while I'm doing this no-hit run, maybe you could hit that subscribe button. This challenge took me a really long time to do, and we're so close to 40,000 subscribers. So if you enjoyed, please check to see if you're subscribed. It really helps a lot. Enjoy the video. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is a no-hit run? A no-hit run is basically beating a game without getting hit once. If you get hit, it's game over. Now, I already know what some of you are ready to comment. But Kazoo, people have beat Minecraft without taking damage. But there are some key differences between a no damage run and a no hit run. The rules for the challenge are quite simple. Rule 1. You can't take damage. Pretty obvious, but this means any source of damage. Even if it technically doesn't remove any hearts, still counts as a hit. Rule 2, you can't use a shield. This is because even if you block the damage, it still counts as a hit. Also, we're not cowards. Shields are worthless to us. Rule 3, play on easy mode. This is optional as the challenge is hard either way, but if this video gets 10,000 likes, I'll do the challenge again on hardcore mode. And rule 4, no potions. Potions are a cheap way to negate damage, and again, we are not cowards. Right, now you know the rules, and so do I. So I think it's time I took you through my month-long journey and show you exactly how I beat Minecraft without getting hit once. So like every attempt, we start by spawning in our world. But there's no time to take in the scenery, because we have to go grab wood. Go, go, go! On spawn, there are 2 things we need to see before we begin the run. Otherwise, we reset the world straight away. Those 2 things are a village or a desert. We need a village for one of our tactics that we'll get into later. As for the desert, that just gives us a better chance of finding a village and lava pool. Desert temples are also a nice bonus. So on the run I see we're by a desert, not to mention right next to a temple. So I quickly grab some wood and dig my way down safely. We get pretty lucky and I find some diamonds for tools, string for bows, emeralds for extra trading, and iron for our necessities.
Kazoo, you missed the golden apple.
Gapples provide absorption and regeneration, both useless effects for a no-hit run. Shortly after the temple, and while explaining to Twitch chat this exact same thing about Gapples, we find a village pretty quickly. First things first, we grab some stones for tools as well as crafting our diamond pickaxe, grab some bread for food, we grab a bed because the less mobs we fight, the less chance we get hit, and of course kill the iron golem for iron, which we'll then use to craft a bucket as well as a flint and steel. Now this part may be confusing, but we're going to want to grab 64 stacks of wood. Now the reason for this is we need a bow and arrow. Back in the early days of these runs, we had a different strategy where we'd use a librarian villager to get an infinity bow. But do you know how long that can take if you get bad luck? We'd spend hours trying to get that infinity book, and then we'd spend even longer getting an anvil to enchant it. So clearly, this wasn't going to work. So after some quick research, I realized a much easier way we could do this. Fletchers. If you grab a stack of wood, craft that into sticks, trade all the sticks in for emeralds, then you can buy 3 stacks of arrows. That's plenty for the nether. We could then craft a bow out of the string we got from the temple. And while we collected the wood for these arrows, we'd make some shears to get some leaves. These would come in handy for building in the nether. And we'd save the shears ready for a pumpkin. We headed out in search of a lava pool. But instead, we got another temple. Because why not? And I almost nearly fell to my death because I was WASDing like an idiot. In the temple, we got even more emeralds and more iron. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. We then found pumpkins, which we swiftly turned into a jack-o'-lantern to use to avoid angering endermen. All we had to get now was a lava pool and golden boots to avoid piglins. And as if God was watching down on this run, we found an abandoned portal, which is where we got the golden block to make the boots. All we needed now was a lava pool. If we didn't get this, the run was truly over. And then, as we got over the hill, we had done it. So far, this was a very lucky run. We had everything we could ever need. But much like speedruns, the real test of luck is in the nether. Now this is where the run could potentially end. All we had to get was a fortress. If we didn't get that, it was truly over. But I had hope considering how good the rest of this run had been so far. We spawned in a twisted forest, so it could have been worse. Much, much worse. And it was actually good, because we were right next to a warped forest, which means we had a way to get pearls more consistently than trading. After some brief exploration in all directions, I spotted a structure in the far distance. I was pretty sure it was a bastion, aka False Hope, but there was a chance I was wrong, so I built over to get a closer look. And on closer inspection... Oh! That is a fortress! Oh! I shouldn't have got that excited, but can you blame me? We had a fortress and a warped forest right next to our portal. This never was going to be easy. At least, that's what I thought. Any fortress is doable, but some are much easier, while others, not so much. Ideally, we wanted a fortress that was tunneled into the ground, so there's less chance of a blaze sniping us from behind. The top of the fortress was swarmed with mobs. No thank you. So I instead opted to dig my way into the hallways of the fortress. These hallways are always very tense. You have to be very careful while navigating through them. Any corner you turn around, there could be an army of mobs waiting for you. Wither skeletons, blazes, magma cubes. But there was one mob that if we crossed paths with them, it was surely game over. No! Clearly, that wasn't gonna work, so I left and went far away from the fortress. I tried to get him to despawn, but much like my motivation to beat this run, they just never went away. So it was time to find another plan. I got revenge on that skeleton, dug around the tunnel, got cornered by blazes, until we finally landed at the spawner. Essentially, to get blaze rods, you just run to the bottom, build a small fort where you're covered from every side, then you leave a missing block to shoot your bow out of. Now, there are problems with this strategy. Sometimes blazes will be in an awkward spot so you can't hit them without putting yourself in a vulnerable position, but this is still the safest way to do it. Luckily, after these grueling months, I had mastered this technique and knew exactly how to do it, so let's just ignore the earlier run in the same stream where I died from it. This was a pretty messy rod collection. We managed to kill a lot of them, but there was still a few spawning on the sides. After a while, I took a quick peek. In that 1 second, I calculated in my head exactly how many blaze rods there were and just how much blaze powder that would equal to. Okay, who am I kidding? I just said, okay, that's a lot, and destroyed the spawner before grabbing them all. Thankfully, I wasn't wrong. There was a lot. 8 blaze rods to be exact, which equal to 16 blaze powder. When it comes to ender eyes, the minimum we need is 12, and the perfect amount is 14. Basically, 12 for the portal and 2 to throw in our stronghold search. So now that I had my blaze powder, I started to dig my way back out, because that fortress was very deadly. I was not walking through that once again. We finally made our way out of the fortress and a good enough distance away so we wouldn't get sniped by a blaze. I decided to take a quick cat break to calm my nerves, before swiftly moving on and heading back to our portal area where I felt safe. But there was no time to rest. Now we had to get the ender pearls. This could be very difficult if we had to resort to trading. That could take a long time. But since we had the warp forest, this would be easy. I made a boat, put on my pumpkin head, and started trapping endermen, slowly killing them and hoping they drop pearls. And after 15 to 20 minutes of grinding, we finally had 14 ender eyes, the perfect amount. Our journey was soon coming to an end. We headed back through the portal, ready to start our final journey. Before we could begin our journey, we took a quick pit stop at the village. The Nether left us with a shortage of arrows, and we would need a lot for the dragon. I bought a lot of arrows, made 2 more bows to be safe, sorted out our inventory, and we were ready to take on the dragon. I threw the first ender eye and set off. After traveling across the lands, we had finally found the stronghold's location. I quickly made some torches to light up the hallways before digging down. It didn't take us long to see that beautiful stone brick. Only, something was really strange. I couldn't hear a single monster. But then I dropped down and immediately heard a zombie grunt. We get optic like that once. Oh, there they are, there they are. So we started running through the hallways for our lives. What you have to understand is that it can take a very long time to find the portal room. The stronghold has many intertwining hallways, dead ends, paths that lead further away, so finding the portal room was going to be really hard. And I mean really hard. There it is! Oh my god! Okay, never mind. We ran down and placed a bucket of water to push the silverfish away, as well as building up high, because this late into the run, I'm taking no chances. There was no way I was dying to a bug this late into the game. No! After the spawner was destroyed and all the silverfish had been slain, we blocked off the room and... we had done it. I filled out the portal, sorted out my hotbar, put on my pumpkin head, and psyched myself up, as well as tweeted the stream on Twitter, @KingofKazoos. It was time to stop stalling and finally finish this. It was time for the end. On entry, I wasted no time and built over. We had only got here once before, and we died because my headphones broke and I couldn't hear the dragon's fireball. No! Bruh. Safe to say, this time was going to be different. Mainly because I replaced my headphone cable to avoid that happening again. Now it was personal. I was confident that I was going to beat this dragon. Oh my god, I'm doing really good with these. That's another one. Just hitting the dragon at this point. Maybe not from this angle, maybe from a different corner. Should make sure he doesn't fly into us. Come on, I'm missing these. Don't get hit by that. I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. There's one. The dragon fight is actually a bit anticlimactic, seeing as the strategy isn't anything special. Just shoot the crystals with your bow, and once they're all gone, you light that big old dragon up with arrows. It's like the first time you beat the dragon all over again. The only real danger was the dragon charging us after perching, so I made sure to run to the side whenever that happened. Seeing as this fight was way too easy, I saw fit to end it with none other than a trick shot. One more hit! 360! It's done! We did it, guys! It's finally over! We finally did it! We finally did it. I sat at the fountain for a second, in disbelief, because we had actually done it. After months of many attempts, a lot of pain, suffering, and plenty of rage, we had finally done it. The world's first and only Minecraft no-hit run. Okay, well, turns out I was wrong. There were actually 2 people who have done this before me. GelX3, but they did use potions. And Blocky Bryson, although they did craft a shield, but as far as I know, they didn't use it. So it may not be the world's first, but I do have the world record time for this challenge, coming in at 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 28 seconds. And you know what? I'll take it. And I still haven't taken damage in this world yet. So maybe I can make this a survival world and see how long I last.